with this number line, the first thing, it's kind of difficult to just give coordinates when I don't know what each point is. Because I really, me personally, I don't want to just eyeball it. Because I've already got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I already know that this right here is not 1. This right here is not 2. 2 is right here. Is there anything on 2? No. So I have to figure out what these little pieces are in between. So I already know that I'm going to have to label those little pieces as something else. What would I call those little pieces in between the whole number? What are they? Fractions. So when I have these little pieces, what would they be labeled as? As what? Thirds. How do you know that they are thirds? Huh? So is that what you were going to say? Because now granted, I've only got 2 there, but I have to include this one. Because I have 1, 2, 3 makes the whole. So this is 1/3, 2/3, and then 3/3 makes the whole. Yes, sir. Eli already went. Oh, can you eat it? Can you hold on a second? Or are you just going to starve to death right now? You okay? So if this is 1/3, this is 2/3, this is 3/3. You have to include the whole number. That's part of what makes the whole. 3/3 is 1. So then this is 1 and 1/3. 1 and 2/3. 1 and 3/3, which equals 2. Do you see where I'm going with that? You have to label everything. So I can label these if it just really bothers me not to have everything labeled. Sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it doesn't. But there's nothing there. So do I really, really have to worry about it? No. Should I label this one? Yes. Yes. What point is this one? Jasmine, can you figure out what this one is? Because you're just kind of sitting there, babe. Do you know what this one is right here, where the circle is? I'm going to say every single one of these hashes are all the same thing. Whatever it is here is the same thing here. Is the same thing here, is the same thing here, is the same thing there. Because aren't there the same number of hashes in between each whole number? So it's the same thing. So what would this one be? How many hashes after the whole number is it? You know what I mean when I say hash? Line. Sorry, I went band on you. Those lines on those little short lines on the big long lines, those are called hash. So if I ever call this, those are called hashes. So how many little lines are after the whole number? How many after the whole number? So what is this one? What is the point of this one? So what is the location of the circle? The true location of the circle. Because 1/3 is way over here. You're halfway correct. I got some people who are dying to blurt it out, I can tell. But I want you to have some success. You are halfway right. If you can get the other half. What? Come on. What is the short line? You had that part. What is it, Andrew? You're dying.
2,
2 and 1/3. So it's past the whole number, 2, one line after 1/3. So this one was 1 and 1/3. This is 1 and 2/3. This is 1 and 3/3, which is 2. So this is 2 and 1/3. This is 2 and 2/3. This is 2 and 3/3, which is 3. 3 and 1/3. 3 and 2/3. 3 and 3/3, which is 4. What is the location of the square? 4 and 2/3. So, what coordinate can I place for the square up here? Where's the square? Amaya, where's the square? The square. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the X and I'm saying square. Oy, oy, oy. Where is the X? I need to learn my shapes. So, 3. Where is the circle? I know my shapes now. I feel so smart. Terrell, where is the circle? 2 and 1/3. Where is the star? Aaron.
2/3.
2/3. Kylie, where is the square that I know is not the X? 4 and 2/3. So you see how really the hardest part is labeling the number line. Labeling the number line, figuring out the fractional parts. That's the hardest part. Really figuring out where it is isn't really that hard. Finding out what is your hash, that's the hardest part. Because some people forget that your whole number is part of your fraction. See if, okay, it says, this one's kind of difficult. Plot A, so its distance from the origin is 2. We have not gone over that vocabulary word. Origin, the origin is where everything begins. When I plotted on my XY over there, where did I start? Where did I begin? Did I automatically start over there in the middle? Did I start at 1? Do I start every number line at 1? When I'm using a ruler, do I start at 1? No. I start at 0. You start every single number line at 0. If I'm counting on my fingers, do I start at 1? No. If I'm counting on my fingers, which I really don't do, if I'm counting on my fingers, I start at this with a fist. Some people go like this, and that's why they count wrong. But if I'm counting, I'll go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But you always start at 0. So you're zeroing. So your origin is 0. Origin starts with an O. 0. Origin starts with an O. 0. Origin. You start at the origin, which is 0. Your starting point. When I started over here, my origin, the beginning part, the starting point, where all graphing begins. So, if I wanted to plot A, so its distance from the origin is 2, where would it be? What number would it be on? So, distance from the origin is 2. It would be on 2. The distance from the origin is 2. 1, 2. The distance from the origin is 2. 1, 2. Right. Plot R so that its distance from the origin is 5 halves. Don't and see, already worried about the fact that it's improper. Who cares that it's improper today? 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, 5 halves, 6 halves. When we're wanting that its distance from the origin is 5 halves, did you just make it more confusing by making it a mixed fraction? You made it harder. Plot R so that its distance from the origin is 5 halves. When you made it 2.5, you had to find 2.5. When they're telling you distance from the origin, that just means start at 0 and move that far away from it. That's all you've got to do. The distance from the origin is 5 halves, so go to 5 halves. The distance from the origin is 2, go 2. Plot L. So the distance from the origin is 20. Now, look at this number line. What can you tell me about this number line? So, does it look backwards or is it backwards? It is backwards. Can number lines do that? Yes, they can. We count backwards all the time. So, can number lines go backwards? Yes. They can go in a descending order. It's got 50 here because that's why you've got the arrows that go both ways. Yes. How do you know?
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50.
Well, hello, Miss Counting, Miss Ma'am. So, went ahead and did some counting. She was working on it while I was in there talking. So when you've got your arrows, that means the numbers can go both ways. The number lines do not just have to go this way. They can go this way. They can go this way. They can go this way. As long as you've got the arrows, they are never ending. So the distance from the origin is 20, and so you just had to figure out where L goes. So then when they're saying plot A, so that means that I had to put A there. Plot R, so I would have to put the letter R there. When they're telling you to plot a letter, you put a letter. Plot L, so I'm supposed to put an L. So Miss Ma'am says it's supposed to go here, so I'm putting a dot there. I gotta check it. So I've got 50 to 35. She tells me it's supposed to go here. So what I would do, I'm not doubting you, Sarah. So 35, 40, 45, 50. So the lines are counting by 5s. I am horrible at counting backwards. I hate doing it. So if I can find a way to count forwards, I do. So 35, I don't like going 50, 45, 40, 35. I don't trust myself when I do that. So me personally, if I can find a way to count forwards, I do. Because when I count backwards, I have a tendency to mess up. So if they ever do like a concussion test where they kind of go count backwards or do something backwards, they're going to be like, okay, you're dying. You got a brain tumor. So they should never ask me to do anything backwards, ever. So 35, 40, 45, 50. So 35 to 30 to 25 to 20. So then L should go there. Very good. Did you need something? Or were you just kind of going, yes, I agree, I'm bad at doing stuff backwards too?
I was going to say, actually, since you know it's counting by fives, you know there's 3 spots, which is going to be 15, and just that and
Right.
45. That's very easier.
Well, you know, I tend to do 100 steps to do something that can only do 5. Because I really, really show my work. Okay, because some people do it easier, some people do it harder, so I tend to find the middle ground and do it all. And then some people don't show their work at all, and then I fuss at them and go, why aren't you showing your work? Plot a point T. Okay, so this one, plot a point T so that its distance from the origin is 2/3 more than that of X. What? Okay, so here is X. Plot a point T so that its distance from the origin is 2/3 more than that of X. So what that's saying is you've got to find the distance from the origin of X. And then T is 2/3 more than that. So what is the distance of the origin of X? Where is X located? Is it 4 2/3? So here's 4. Here's 5. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got to figure out the fractional parts. So this is 4 and 1, 6, 4 and 2, 6, 4 and 3, 6, 4 and 4, 6, 4 and 5, 6. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see what I did? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. Don't bobblehead me. Yes, no. Because this is 4 and 6, 6, which makes 5. So there are 6 hash marks. So this is 4 and 1, 6. We need to plot a point T so that is the distance from the origin is 2/3 more than that of X. So 4 and 2, 6 is 4 1/3. So 4, 6 is 4 and 4. So this is 1/3. Here's 1/3 away from the origin. Where do you think T needs to go? Huh? You think it's 4 and 4, 6? Plot a point T so that its distance from the origin is 2/3 more than that of X. So you think T goes there? So let's, so you got And you notice that the number line's going backwards, but that doesn't matter. So I'm starting over here. I'm starting at my origin, but this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So this is 4/4, which is 1. That's how we're getting fourths. 1 and 1/4, 1 and 2/4, 1 and 3/4, 1 and 4/4, which is 2. 2 and 1/4, 2 and 2/4, 2 and 3/4. You have to include that whole number when you're writing your fraction. 3, 3 and 1/4, 3 and 2/4, 3 and 3/4, 3 and 4/4, which is 4. 4 and 1/4, 4 and 2/4, 4 and 3/4, 4 and 4/4, which is 5. 5 and 1/4, 5 and 2/4, 5 and 3/4, 5 and 4/4, which is 6. Now you see why I told you to put your stuff on the blue lines, because it's easier to label each hash, which is what I told you to do. Because here, at A through F, they're telling you to plot certain things. Hunter, your fingers are not that cool. So I want you to see how well you can plot certain things on your number line. So see if you can follow the directions on A through F on plotting things. You're just putting things on the number line. So see how well you can do it, and then we'll check. Should be here. Label a point that lies at 4.5 as B. Well, 4.5 is the same thing as 4 and 2/4, so it should be here. They are equivalent. What? Nothing, I don't know.
You will look at that function.
Label a point C whose distance from 0, 0 being right here, whose distance from 0 is 5 more than that of A. Well, A is right there at 3/4. 5 more than A. 5 more than A. Well, A is 3/4. 5 more than 3/4 would be 5 and 3/4. The coordinate of C, 5 and 3/4. Plot a point D whose distance from 0 is 1 and 1/4 less than that of B. So if B is 4 and 2/4, so 1 and 1/4. So if I have 4 and 2/4, there's 2 ways you can do this, but I'm just doing it this way. 2 minus 1 is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. So D is 3 and 1/4. D should be there. You should be checking your stuff, and if it's not right, you should be fixing it. The distance of E from 0, now the distance from E should not be 1 and 3/4. That's not what it's saying. The distance of E from 0 is 1 and 3/4 more than that of D. So D is 3 and 1/4. So 3 and 1/4 plus 1 and 3/4. 3 plus 1 is 4. 1 and 3 is 4. So E is 5. What is the coordinate of the point that lies halfway between A and D label this point F. Well, A is 3/4. D is 3 1/4. So if I've got here, and I'm looking halfway between, it's 2. Label that F. So how many of y'all got every single question right? Okay. How many of y'all got most of the questions right? Honestly, I got most of them right. That's not most. How many of y'all got half of them right? How many of y'all got a couple of them right? Okay, that's a couple. Couple's 2. How many of y'all got none of them right? How many of y'all didn't do it then and just waited for me to give you the answer? Don't lie. I know a couple of you did. You just sat there and did nothing. Okay.